the planet. Man, our nation, rise up.
You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, still listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs. You know what's going on. Man, now we're after dark. No LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers. Go.
And what is going on, Man Hour Nation? It's your boy, BC Brandon Combs. This is Man Hour. Welcome to the best damn sports radio show on the planet. If you have not yet done so, please click like, share, and subscribe on whichever platform you're watching us on. If you have not yet done so, it's probably because we've only been live for about 1 minute and 20 seconds. But click like, share, subscribe. It helps us more than you will ever know. If you're watching us on Belly Up Sports TV, Tiki TV, Belly Up Sports, Facebook, wherever you're watching us, and you like what you see, you can head on over to youtube.com/Man Hour to subscribe for as little as $2.99 a month. Become a member of Man Hour Nation. Once you're a member, head on over to manhourradio.com, click on the merchandise tab, get yourself some hot Man Hour gear. We have hats, shirts, hoodies, joggers, phone cases, much, much more. Now that I've tried to pay the bills, let's try to bring on my main man, my dizzy, stuttering buddy. What's going on, Buck?
What is up, Man Our Nation? What is up, Brandon Combs? What is up, people over in UK eating those tea and crumpets, right?
Your turn.
Yeah, hey, I'm not for sure if you eat the crumpets or you drink the crumpets, but either way,
whatever.
Do those crumpet things, and bada bing, bada boom. Let's go, baby. What's up, Combsy?
Not much, man. Not much. It's been a crazy day. I've been at work dealing with stuff on job sites. Had one of my crew members chop his finger with a skill saw today, so that was adventurous. But yeah, so then I see that somebody else might have chopped themselves off at the hand, and that was the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Ooh.
I don't know what's going on there, but 1 hour into free agency today. Free agent window opened at 12 p.m. Eastern. And by 1 p.m. Eastern, the Pittsburgh Steelers have signed none other than Mitch Trubisky to lead them into the future. And I don't know about you, Buck, but Mitch Trubisky leading you into the future is not something that a fan of any football team really wants to hear.
Really? Because I see my man Rule the Jungle in the stat or like in the like in the chat here, and I don't know if he's trolling or not, but he says steal of the day, get that man some money. And Combs, there was a reason why Mitchell Trubisky was a number one pick for the Chicago Bears. What, in 2016 or 2017, whatever year it was, I can't even remember what year it was. There was a reason why he doesn't have a losing record as a starting quarterback. There is a reason why he led your Chicago Bears to the playoffs 2 times in a row, with like a 11-4 season.
Whoa! It was twice in 4 seasons. It wasn't 2 times in a row.
It's okay. So he is a 50%
and the second
batting.
time they backed into it and they got beat up on Nickelodeon by the Saints.
If you back into a woman, are you still getting laid, or are you still just randomly falling in?
If you back into her, that's a little sus to me. I don't know.
And if you backdoor her, you're still getting some action.
Oh, Jesus.
So with that being said, Mr. Trubisky has getting a team to the playoffs 50% of the time. And yes, I know Rule of Jungle. I feel like he is trolling right now. But guys, Mr. Trubisky might be the steal of this year's free agency, to be totally 100% honest. Just because when we look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, they are a quarterback away. mean, Big Ben, it might be a Hall of Famer, sure, but he was definitely on his last leg. But they have a great defense. They have a good young receiving core, and with a steady, stable coaching cast staff that is willing to work with a player and evolve him, Mr. Trubisky has a lot of room to grow. He has a lot of raw talent there. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be a threat in the AFC North. They are going to be a threat in the AFC, period. The Pittsburgh Steelers with Mr. Trubisky might be the third best team in the AFC right now. No question in my mind.
All right. So, look, I'm going to preface this by saying that I don't think Mitch Trubisky is the savior in Pittsburgh. I think he's a stopgap at best. However, he's better than every guy they have on their roster at the quarterback position right now. They also there was word that the Steelers had a trade that they could have made to the San Francisco Giants to get Jimmy G, but instead they opted for Mitchell Trubisky. And look, I'm not a Mitch Trubisky hater. As much as people like to think that I am, I'm not a Mitch Trubisky hater. I think that Mitch Trubisky was in a situation where he just could not win in Chicago. And I think he was in that situation because Matt Nagy put him into that situation. And us Bears fans, we didn't know a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff until after Trubisky left and until after Matt Nagy left. And then all of a sudden we find out that Mitchell Trubisky, wanted to meet with Matt Nagy and try to figure out what was going on. He had some ideas on how to correct what was going on with the Bears offense. And Matt Nagy did not show up to that meeting and just left Mitch Trubisky hanging. And that was kind of the beginning of the end for Mitch, right? So, and then I saw what they did last year with Justin Fields. So I feel like Mitch Trubisky is one of those guys who just hasn't had an ample opportunity. And I want nothing more than to watch this guy succeed, because that, to me, would solidify the fact that Matt Nagy is the worst coach in the history of the NFL and should never get another head coaching job. So I kind of hope that Mitch Trubisky goes out and tears it up, because look, my Bears are going to be about a 7-10 win team this year. That's just what it is. They're going to be 7-10, 8-9, 9-8, somewhere in that ballpark. And that's just what they're going to be. So I need to find other storylines to root for. Tom Brady coming back. I'm a root for him to win a Super Bowl and go out on top. Mitch Trubisky getting a chance to start for the Steelers. I'm rooting for him. I want to see him do well. I want to see him succeed. I think that with Mike Tomlin and with this Pittsburgh Steelers offense, I think it's a possibility. I don't think he's a terrible quarterback. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback, though, either. And he's going to have to show me a lot in order for me to change my opinion about that.
So I've seen people like on Facebook and Twitter saying, "Oh, you wouldn't want to trade for Daniel Jones or Deshaun Watson or Jimmy G. You would rather take Mitchell Trubisky." Yes, I would rather take Mitchell Trubisky in all those situations because I'm getting him for free, more or less. Mitchell Trubisky, yes, you're paying him like a couple $1 million, right? But I'm not giving up a first-round pick. I'm not giving up JJ or a TJ Watt. I'm not giving up Chase Claypool. I signed a free agent to my team, and I think when you have a quarterback like Daniel Jones out there, or a quarterback like Jimmy G, or a quarterback like Deshaun Watson, I like out there that are all underneath contract still, they're going to warrant a first round, second round, a couple player pick, or some types of translation there. And Mr. Trubisky was free to pick up, so therefore that makes that pickup that much more better, because you can still build your team in this year's stacked defense and offensive line draft. Now, the offensive playmakers and the quarterbacks are pretty weak in this draft, but the wide receivers and the playmakers in this draft are pretty weak, but the offensive line and the defense line are pretty damn good. Let's just be flat out honest about that. And the Pittsburgh Steelers might lose Juju. Won't be a huge loss because they can find a a wide receiver Juju like in second or third round easily. This pickup, Combs, like I know you are like you enjoy the pick because you want Mitchell Trubisky to prove Matt Nagy wrong. I like this pick because Mitchell Trubisky had a chance to be a backup on a winning franchise for a season. What does that do to you as a player, Combs? For one, that resets your mindset when you walk into the field. Like you're like, hey, I need to prepare for this game a little bit better than what I was doing in Chicago, and it kind of erases that bad taste in your mouth. It also develops a chip on your shoulder because you said, well, damn, I was a starter for 5 years in Chicago, but now I'm a backup to this guy, and I think I'm better than this guy. That pisses you off, and I think the Pittsburgh Steelers stole Mitchell Trubisky 100%, and they're going to do well.
Yeah, you know what? I hope you're right. I still feel like Deshaun Watson would have been the best option. I think Deshaun Watson is the best option for any team that needs a quarterback.
I'm not saying that whatsoever, but the 4 first-round picks that they're asking for or a free agent.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get the price tag. I get the fact that you can build around him with those draft picks. I understand that. I feel like you have enough to win now, though, if all you did was add Deshaun Watson. But Deshaun Watson is probably headed to the NFC South, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But Mitch Trubisky is one of those guys that he's talented. He can move. He's best when he's on the run. I watched it here with Chicago for 3 years. He's best when you're rolling him out of the pocket. He's not a sit, 3-step, 4-step drop type guy and then carve up your defense. He's a move around the pocket, make plays happen type guy, and that's when he's at his best. And the Bears never did a good enough job of establishing that. But there's another quarterback who just left Pittsburgh who was also best when he was on the run, and that was Big Ben Roethlisberger.
Yep.
Big Ben was one of those guys who, as long as he was moving his feet, he was good to go. And when he would sit in the pocket, that's when he'd get himself in a little bit of trouble. So I think that this is a perfect situation for Mitchell Trubisky. I think that they're going to do right by him, and I think that they're going to give him every opportunity to succeed. He's probably going to have the reins for at least two seasons. What they say, a 2 or 3 year deal?
I can't remember for sure. I thought it was a 2-year deal.
Okay, so for 2 years, he's going to have an opportunity to prove himself as a starter. And look, if he does well in Pittsburgh, what does Pittsburgh do best? They reward their players and they reward their coaches. They don't get rid of quarterbacks and they don't get rid of head coaches. So if Mitch Trubisky doesn't make it in Pittsburgh, this is his last opportunity. And I think he's going to shine. I really do. I think they're going to do well in Pittsburgh. And I wish him nothing but the best.
Yeah, so me too as well. I did see one Pride 40. What's up, man? What's up, Alpha Rob as well? And Rule the Jungle, guys. Welcome to the chat there. I saw Hoffy in there as well. Baseball lackey himself. What a loser. But one Pride 40 says the Christian Kirk contract is like awful. Combs, let's talk about that a tad bit. So Christian Kirk was a receiver for the Arizona Cardinals, and I believe the Jacksonville Jaguars gave him about a $12 million deal, making him like a top 20, top 10 paid wide receiver there. So as the contract on the surface seems pretty bad here, but one Pride 40, let me flash back to about a month ago when all this free agency started talking, when Devontae Adams was still a player to be maybe signed free agency. Maybe he still could be because he said he doesn't want to play underneath the franchise tag, but we can talk about that later if you want. And then there's wide receivers like Chris Godwin that was still out there. So basically this wide receiver free agency pool dried up pretty quick. And the Jacksonville Jaguars are literally a playmaker or two away from being a playoff contender. They are a big name receiver from winning that AFC South. Or what? No, sorry. What division are they in? It's the NFC South. No, it's the AFC South.
Yeah, you're talking about the AFC South.
Yeah. So the Jacksonville Jaguars have a great defense. They have a quarterback that could be molded still. He is still technically Trevor Lawrence is going into his second rookie year. Let's just call a spade a spade. He did not learn nothing last year from Urban Meyer besides how to get hookers and basically get a divorce. So with that being said, with the Jacksonville Jaguars adding Christian Kirk for $11 million a season, they literally still have $45 million to sign another big-name receiver. Devontae Adams could still possibly be out there because he is refusing to sign that franchise tag. Jarvis Landry is now a free agent. There are receivers out there that can be signed, and the Jacksonville Jaguars are literally a playmaker away, one pride 40. This is just the one domino that is getting ready to drop on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And if I was the Jacksonville Jaguars, I would be on the phone with Landry right now. I would be on the phone with the Green Bay Packers saying, "How can I get Devontae Adams here?" And I would even be on the phone with a Golden Tate. Yes, I know Golden Tate's like 38 years old. He's on like a 17 and 5 years, but he has that veteran presence to mold Christian Kirk, to mold the possible couple rookie receivers that they're going to get as well. Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be dangerous, guys. So just watch out. This is a great signing.
Look, Buck, when it comes to you talking about teams being dangerous, I don't ever believe you because I know we got, a DR Detroit in here. We got one Pride 40 in here, but you picked the Detroit Lions every damn year to win the division, and you haven't been wrong.
2 years.
Yeah. Well, they've won about 4 games in that 2-year span that you've picked them to win the division. This Christian Kirk signing for the Jacksonville Jaguars is kind of eye-popping, right? I think what they get him for 4 years, $84 million.
Yep.
It was that's like $21 million a year. Like I don't get it. I don't know why you would give Christian Kirk that type of money, other than the fact that you need to spend money. I don't know what the deal is. But look, Christian Kirk is a nice wide receiver. He's a nice piece, but he's not a number one. He's not a number one at all. And when he was at his best was about 2 years ago when they had God, his name's going to DR Detroit says this guy from Chicago acts like the Bears won something. But we talk all the time. You can compare it to the Bears all you want. I know the Bears are trash. I admit that the Bears are trash. They've been a trash organization for a long time. I hope that they're on the right track now. Hopefully, we'll see. I hope your Detroit Lions get on the right track. I really do. But the truth is, they've just been awful. And the Bears won as many games this year as the Lions have in the last 3 seasons. So they have won something lately. More games than Detroit. Anyway, so getting back to Christian Kirk, I don't think that Christian Kirk is a number one guy. I mean, a couple years back, he was really good, but he was the number 3 there. He wasn't he wasn't that guy. And when they went ahead and traded Hopkins, he still didn't become that guy. So for me, I just don't understand it. I just don't get it. But hey, you had to do something. You had to spend money to get a free agent to come there. I mean, you're going to have to overpay for free agents if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, because that's the only way you're going to convince guys to come play for you.
Christian Kirk has been behind arguably the best receiver in our generation, Combs, and Larry Fitzgerald. He sat last year behind D-Hop. Yes, he wasn't a number one receiver on those teams because he was behind top 5 receivers of like all time. Christian Kirk is going to go to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he is going to get 100 reception, 1,500 yards. He has done nothing but improve since his rookie year back in 2018.
Buck, first of all, they created DeAndre Hopkins after the 2019 season, so this is the second year DeAndre Hopkins has not been with the Cardinals. You've got, who am I thinking? Not DeAndre Hopkins. They have DeAndre Hopkins. They had who the hell else was it before DeAndre Hopkins?
Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, but Larry Fitzgerald was never. He was about 95 years old in 2020.
Are you telling me that Larry Fitzgerald was not the best receiver in
He was
Arizona
about
Cardinal
90.
history?
He was about 95 years old in 2020. I'm not saying he's not the best wide receiver in Cardinals
You're right,
history.
but he was still behind DeAndre Hopkins in 2020.
Okay.
He was their number 4 option because they had what they had freaking AJ Green. They had that white boy that like everybody has, like loves, and then they had D Hop and Larry Fitzgerald.
Right, but Christian Kirk has gone up and down his entire career. He had 43 catches in 2018, 68 in 2019, 48 in 2020, 77 in 2021. So he'll probably have about 49 or 50 catches in 2022.
He was the number 3 receiver. Of course, he's only going to get targeted 50 times.
First of all, DeAndre Hopkins was out for like 5 weeks of this season. And when they were out, they had no offense because they had nobody that could catch the damn ball.
They had nobody that could throw.
And that included Christian Kirk. I'm not saying the guy's a terrible wide receiver. What I'm saying is he's not a number 1. And to get a guy like Christian Kirk or to get any wide receiver to come play for you in Jacksonville, you're going to have to overpay, right? It's like my line of work. If I don't want to do a job, if I think that, a job is going to suck, if I don't want to, put this wall up, or if I don't want to do this tile flooring, I'm going to price it through the roof. And if you still hire me, then it's worth it. And it's the same thing Christian Kirk did. He said, look, I'll come play for you guys, but this is my price tag. They're like, okay. He's like, oh, cool. That's what happened. He priced himself through the roof, and he caught a fish. And so
he didn't price himself. The Jacksonville Jaguars like, hey, we'll give you 80, like 84 million. And then he looks over at his like at his agent. They give the eye that they get the, hey, maybe we can get some more. Like, well, what are you guys really thinking? How about a 4-year, $84 million? Yeah.
Let's be real. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Christian Kirk went to him and said, look, I'll play for you guys for 4 years and $25 million. And they said, no, we'll give you 4 years, 84. That's how that